questioning? There be any? Senator Marcos?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much, Justice, and welcome to the Senate and the Commission on Appointments. My first question is very simple. Is the exercise of the JBC's functions of shortlisting candidates for the judiciary ministerial? Is it merely ministerial, or does it involve judgment and discretion?
Your Honor, it involves judgment and discretion. With respect to the disqualification, there are automatic disqualifications if you have pending cases. But when you meet the criteria and you're not disqualified, then discretion comes in. There are so many factors to be considered by a member in considering an aspirant. Is not only his bar rating, his academic records are also looked into, his experience as a professional, the honors, the awards he garnered, his reputation also, his integrity,
Thank you.
and his record.
Thank you very much, Justice. In other words, the JBC is not a mere rubber stamp. Is that correct? I mean, its job is not merely to ensure that it ticks off all the requirements or deletes in the case of disqualifications. So otherwise, the Constitution wouldn't require such stringent qualifications for one to become a JBC member. Isn't that correct, Paul? Isn't it though before applicants should have already qualified on the last day of the application? I heard this is the practice for regular applicants for the judiciary, the RTC. Why change it for some people? Why does the JBC keep changing its rules? Does the JBC favor someone? Why qualify an applicant on the very last day of final deliberations? I refer to the case of Attorney Logan, who was only issued an ombudsman clearance on October 6th, the same day the shortlist was released and sent to the office of the president due to 2 pending ombudsman cases. Why were the rules suddenly changed in her favor?
Actually, Your Honor, when we publish the announcement inviting applicants for we invite the public to report, to comment, to endorse or oppose the applications of those listed applicants. Not all submit their oppositions on time. There are those who submit their clearances when they apply. There are those who reserve or they ask for time to submit their clearances. And after that, there are also oppositions, complaints against the applicants. And in our experience, most of the complaints they're not that serious as to disqualify a candidate. So we consider every opposition, we ask them to comment, to comply with the due process requirement of the Constitution. So they are asked to comment. The last day, because of our experience of complainants or oppositors filing their complaints and opposition during the last week or the last few days of the final deliberation, we deem it unfair if we will automatically disqualify them. So we
Justice.
have to study if the matter is very serious or not.
Yes, Justice, but you made mention of a list of absolute requirements. which contains, among others, a clearance of the ombudsman. Surely that doesn't require an oppositor to file with the JBC. Surely that is of note. Why was Attorney Logan considered, given that the ombudsman clearance was only given on the same day, yesterday, when the
Ye-
shortlist was given? The deadline had long passed. Why is the JBC changing its rules to favor certain people?
It's still within the rules, Your Honor. Before the voting, they should, if they can submit a clearance, they can be qualified and can be
Even on the same day po?
same day.
Because they're given to understand that the required documents are supposed to have been submitted in September, as is usual with regular judges in ordinary courts.
Yes. With respect to judges, we have considered it to be the last day because there are so many good judges.
So there's a distinction po.
When
The
they are-
ombudsman is special and regular judges have to comply with the rules.
no, they have the same qualification if they have a
But
pending.
there was a deadline for the requirements to be submitted in September,
Oh.
a deadline that was actually extended repeatedly.
Yes. It is on the last day of the, we call it the final deliberation. If they can submit a clearance, they can be considered. With respect to the
Several
last-
dates were given po. In
Yes,
September, I recall.
Yes, Your Honor.
In any case, did you participate, given that you were reappointed twice? Did you participate in the proceedings in the shortlisting of the ombudsman candidates po?
Yes, yeah, yes, Your Honor, because my appointment was ad interim.
So, given the two appointments, you in fact participated. So we are very curious about the occurrences with regard to the JBC shortlisting yesterday. It is very clear that the JBC requires that an applicant should have no pending administrative or criminal case before any office, considering that Secretary Boying Remulla was included in the list of nominees, despite having pending cases and issues touching on propriety. Would you agree that such inclusion may cast doubt on your council's adherence to the constitutional requirement of recognized probity and independence?
We were aware of that. Senator Pangilinan was there and Congressman Luistro was there when we considered the first issue of whether a candidate is disqualified or not. So in the case of Secretary Remulla, he was able to submit clearances from the Ombudsman. And then we we checked the JBC rules, and in the JBC rules regarding disqualification, if you have a pending case with the ombudsman, you will be disqualified. But if and there is any other administrative case before any other government agency, uh, it will be subject the discretion and evaluation of the individual members. It is only, I do not know why the administrative cases of pending before the ombudsman are different from the other agencies, but that is the rule. And
But surely you're aware that the pending cases were not merely administrative, but in fact criminal. And we can hardly say that recognized probity is in fact upheld.
Mr. Roro, that is, we are aware of that, but he was able to obtain a clearance. So,
As a matter of fact, some of these cases arose before Secretary Remulla made his intentions known that he intended to become ombudsman. Is this a person of recognized probity? Also, a lifelong politician? Is this a person of recognized independence?
the voting yesterday was in secret. It was confidential. We do not know the members who voted for him and and the, and the member who did not vote for him. So, may we ask your indulgence on that? We respect the the confidentiality of the JPC proceedings because uh, the Chief Justice Alexis Mundo even asked us to execute an undertaking that everything should be confidential for the protection of the members of the JBC, especially the regular members who are not politicians. They are apolitical.
We are
Honor.
we are certain that you are aware that in 2012, for the position of Chief Justice, two pending disbarments against then Laila de Lima disqualified her.
Before you answer, Justice, the chair would like to acknowledge the presence of Senator Joel Villanueva.
It's,
Yes, so this occurred in 2012 when she was disqualified
yes,
because of two disbarment cases. I am certain that you are aware that there are disbarment cases filed against Secretary Remulla. First, on the 23rd of September, Attorney Topacio filed. Thereafter, on the 2nd of October, acting Davao City Mayor Baste Duterte also filed a disbarment case. In addition, our chairman, Senator Marcoleta, filed his sworn opposition. But in the shortlist submitted yesterday to the Office of the President, it still included the name of Secretary Remulla. Why is that so, considering that there are two pending disbarment cases and a sworn opposition?
we considered them as complaints, but in our discussion yesterday, it was considered that last minute oppositions and complaints were considered as mere oppositions by the JBC.
Are you saying, Justice, that all of these cases against Secretary Remulla are entirely baseless?
No, it's still ongoing, but in the minds of the members, uh, there were
You admit
there
that
was
they were still ongoing, certainly.
yes, yes,
Uh,
yes, Your Honor.
You can hardly say that he is qualified. You yourself said if there are pending cases, and
Yes,
you said that they are ongoing,
ongoing.
how could you have disregarded them and included him in a short list?
Uh,
You can form your preliminary judgment or opinion on the cases for purposes of JBC proceedings, right?
yes,
Are we saying that these are baseless? Is it not clear that the case I filed at the Ombudsman was dismissed by the acting Ombudsman Vargas on the sole ground that the Supreme Court would raise prejudicial questions? Certainly, the Ombudsman didn't tackle the merits in any way. Hence, the JBC should have considered it and given it more weight.
was considered by all the members of the JBC, but we do not know the reasons of each and every member. The
What
JBC,
were your reasons as a member? How did you justify his inclusion?
he was able to secure a clearance with respect to the criminal cases. And then with respect to the disbarment, they were considered one and the same act by the body. The members of the JBC come from different interests. I represent the retired justices. One represents the academe, one represents the private sector, and one represents the IBP. The government is represented, the Senate is represented by
Sir, we're aware of the different sectors represented in the JBC, and we are certain that they're all qualified and
Yeah.
fit. However, given the cases that were pending, what will happen as a former Supreme Court justice if the Supreme Court decides that no prejudicial question exists and that the Ombudsman should have resolved the Remulla cases on its merits? Do you think that Secretary Remulla can ever be fair in deciding the cases against himself, now sitting as Ombudsman? If he inhibits, do you think that it will allay any notion of partially considering that it is still his underlings who will finally decide? Does that not put us in an untenable position?
Yes, Your Honor, I agree that he has to inhibit himself, but he's in a position to, as the Ombudsman, yes, he is in a position to influence the deputies if who will replace him if he inhibits himself. But there's so many factors, and we cannot at this time predict what those factors are. But the human factor is very important. Their background, their sense of justice, like that.
Would not that be the same problem if the decision on the two disbarment cases is adverse to Secretary Remulla? How can it be enforced, considering that he is an impeachable officer? Did the JBC not take this into account?
We took this into account, Your Honor. We know that there is a process. With respect to disbarment, sometimes they are directly filed with the IBP, and then it goes to it is referred to the council or the committee in the IBP. And then if they have finding already, it will go to the Board of Governors. And all their findings are recommendatory. It is after the Board of Governors of the IBP, they will recommend to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court will be the final arbiter.
Yes, Justice Mendoza, we're aware of the process. Merely that it appears that the JBC did not adequately take into consideration all these issues. We are aware, Mr. Chairman and Justice Mendoza, of the tremendous pressure upon the JBC. However, it's apparent that the JBC subverted its own rules and really performed extraordinary leniency in the case of at least two applicants, by which we're totally perplexed and rather alarmed for its future performance. That's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much, Justice Mendoza.